General of the Army, United States. General of the Army, abbreviated as GA, is a five-star general officer and the highest possible rank in the United States Army. A general of the Army ranks immediately above a general and is equivalent to a fleet admiral and a general of the Air Force. The General of the Army insignia consisted of 5.3/8-inch 9.5 mm stars. The insignia was paired with the gold and enameled United States coat of arms on service coat shoulder loops. The silver-colored five-star metal insignia alone would be worn for use as a collar insignia of grade and on the garrison cap. Soft shoulder epaulettes with 5.7/16-inch 11 mm stars in silver thread and gold-threaded United States coat of arms on green cloth were worn with shirts and sweaters. The rank of General of the Army has had two incarnations. The rank was introduced in 1866, the year after the American Civil War. It was reserved for the commanding general of the United States Army, was a four-star rank, and was held by three different individuals from 1866 to 1888. The rank was revived as the modern five-star rank during World War II and may be awarded to more than one serving officer at a time. It was held by five different individuals from 1944 to 1981. A special rank of General of the Armies, which ranks above the second incarnation of General of the Army, exists but has been conferred only twice, to World War I's John J. Pershing and posthumously to George Washington, by proclamation 177 years after his death. History. Post-American Civil War era. On 25 July 1866, the U.S. Congress established the rank of General of the Army of the United States for General Ulysses S. Grant. His pay was $400 per month, and his allowance for fuel and quarters, except when his headquarters are in Washington, shall be at the rate of $300 per month. When appointed General of the Army, Grant wore the rank insignia of 4 stars and coat buttons arranged in 3 groups of 4. Unlike the World War II rank with a similar title, the 1866 rank of General of the Army was a 4-star rank. This rank held all the authority and power of a 1799 proposal for a rank of General of the Armies, even though Grant was never called by this title. Despite being titled General of the Army instead of General of the Armies, the Comptroller General of the United States would rule in 1924 that the grade revived in 1866 for Grant and later William T. Sherman and Philip H. Sheridan was the same grade that had been proposed for Washington in 1799 and revived for Pershing in 1990. In contrast to the modern 4-star rank of general, only one officer at a time could hold the 1866-1888 rank of General of the Army. For a few months in 1885, as he was dying, Grant was accorded a special honor and his rank was restored by congressional legislation. After Grant became U.S. President, he was succeeded as General of the Army by William T. Sherman, effective 4 March 1869. In 1872, Sherman ordered the insignia changed to 2 stars, with the coat of arms of the United States in between. By an act of Congress on 1 June 1888, the grade was conferred upon Philip Sheridan, who by then was in failing health. The rank of General of the Army ceased to exist with Sheridan's death on 5 August 1888. Generals of the Army post-Civil War. World War II and Korean War era. As the logistics and military leadership requirements of World War II escalated after the June 1944 Normandy landings, the United States government created a new version of General of the Army. The 5-star rank and authority of General of the Army and equivalent Naval Fleet Admiral were created by an act of Congress on a temporary basis when Pub. L. 78-482 was passed on 14 December 1944, which provided only 75% of pay and allowances to the grade for those on the retired list. The rank was temporary, subject to reversion to permanent rank 6 months after the end of the war. The temporary rank was then declared permanent on 23 March 1946 by Pub. L 79-333, which also awarded full pay and allowances in the grade to those on the retired list. It was created to give the most senior American commanders parity of rank with their British counterparts holding the ranks of field marshal and admiral of the fleet. This second general of the Army rank is not the same as the post-Civil War era version because of its purpose and 5 stars. The insignia for the 1944 General of the Army rank consists of 5 stars in a pentagonal pattern with points touching. The 5 officers who have held the 1944 version of General of the Army and the date of each's appointment are as follows. Generals of the Army WW Roman II. The timing of the first 4 of these appointments was coordinated with the first 3 of the following appointments of the U.S. Navy's first 5-star fleet admirals. This was to establish both an order of seniority among the generals and a near equivalence between the services. Although briefly considered, the U.S. Army did not introduce a rank of field marshal. In the United States, the term marshal has traditionally been used for civilian law enforcement officers, particularly the U.S. Marshals, as well as formerly for state and local police chiefs. In addition, giving the rank the name marshal would have resulted in George Marshall being designated as Field Marshal Marshal, which was considered undignified. Eisenhower resigned his Army commission on 31 May 1952. After Eisenhower was elected and served 2 terms, President John F. Kennedy, on 22 March 1961, signed Pub. L. 87-3, which authorized reappointing Eisenhower to the active list of the regular Army in his former grade, of General of the Army with his former date of rank in such grade. This rank is today commemorated on the signs denoting interstate highways as part of the Eisenhower interstate system, which display 5 silver stars on a light blue background. Arnold, a general in the Army, was the commanding general of the role 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 of the Army Air Forces throughout World War Roman II, when he was promoted. After his United States Air Force became a separate service on 18 September 1947, Arnold's rank was carried over to the Air Force, just as all Army Air Forces airmen's rank carried over. Arnold was the first and, to date, only general of the Air Force. He is also the only person to have ever held a 5-star rank in 2 branches of the U.S. Armed Forces. These officers who held the rank of General of the Army remained officers of the United States Army for life, with an annual $20,000 in pay and allowances, equivalent to $294,000 in 2020. They were entitled to an office maintained by the Army along with an aide of the rank of colonel, a secretary, and an orderly. Modern usage. No officers have been appointed to the rank of General of the Army since Omar Bradley. The rank is still maintained in the Army's structure and could be awarded by the President with the consent of the United States Senate. Although the first chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff CJCS, Omar Bradley, was eventually awarded a 5th star, such a promotion does not come with that office. Bradley's elevation ensured that he would not be outranked by his subordinate, Douglas MacArthur. In the 1990s, there were proposals in Department of Defense academic circles to bestow a 5-star rank on the office of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. After the conclusion of the Persian Gulf War, but before his tenure as Secretary of State, there was talk of awarding a 5th star to General Colin Powell, who had served as CJCS during the conflict. But even in the face of public and congressional pressure to do so, Clinton presidential transition team staffers decided against it for political reasons, fearing that a 5th star may have assisted Powell, a Republican, had he decided to run for office. An effort was also made to promote General Norman Schwarzkopf Jr. to General of the Army, although it was not carried out. As recently as the late 2000s, some commentators proposed that the military leader in the global war on terrorism be promoted to a 5-star rank. In January 2011, the founders of the Vets for Freedom political advocacy group published an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal calling for David Petraeus to be awarded a fifth star in recognition of his work and the importance of his mission. Earlier, in July 2010, D.B. Grady wrote an article in The Atlantic supporting the same promotion. Ranks senior to General of the Army, the Army. The rank of General of the Armies is senior to General of the Army, and the rank by this name has been bestowed on only two officers in U.S. history. In 1919, John J. Pershing was promoted to General of the Armies for his services in World War I. In 1976, during the United States bicentennial, George Washington was posthumously promoted to this rank for his service as the first commanding general of the United States Army. In 1903, retroactive to 1899, George Dewey was promoted to Admiral of the Navy, a rank equated to that of a five-star admiral. The promotion of Admiral Dewey is the only time an Admiral of the Navy has been named, and the rank ceased to exist after his death. Section 7 of Public Law 78-482 read, "Nothing in this Act shall affect the provisions of the Act of September 3, 1941 Stat. 283, 10 U.S.C. 671, or any other law relating to the office of General of the Armies of the United States." George Washington was posthumously promoted. In relation to America's bicentennial celebration, Congress passed legislation on 19 January 1976 urging Washington's promotion, and President Gerald Ford approved it in October 1976, but historians found that congressional and presidential actions were not enough, and that the Army had to issue orders to make the promotion official. According to Public Law 94-479, General of the Armies of the United States is established as having rank and precedence over all other grades of the Army, past or present. Thus, Washington will always be the most senior general of the United States. During his lifetime, Washington was appointed a general in the Continental Army during the Revolutionary War and a three-star lieutenant general in the regular army during the Quasi-War with France.